Hey, coming up next is Media News number 181. It's going to be an all DC Comics edition of Media News. We're going to talk about the Superman lawsuit. There's yet another settlement. We're going to cover that. We're going to talk about DC Nation and what the heck happened to that. And we're going to wrap it up with the Justice League. All that and more coming right up. Sounds good. Hey, you want to save 20% off of everything in the store? Then show up on the 20th of every month, because the 20th is Founders Day here at Alternate Reality. And on Founders Day, everything except this week's new comics and bulk supplies is 20% off. That's right, every single thing in the store is 20% off every 20th here at Alternate Reality.
Oh, nuts. Here's Comic Book Man and good old JR.
How come they never name hurricanes after Klingons? Media News, episode 181. Stay hydrogenated.
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my video outhouse. It's time for
Media News. We're back in the saddle again, just for you.
Media News, which is coming to you from this place, Alternate Reality, which is located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all my new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone, including all of my Superman comics.
all your Superman
which
comics.
brings me
Man, it can segue like an SOB, can't it?
Which brings me into our very first story.
What's that about?
The first story that we have today, which is the story of the first, which we are going to talk about right
Story
now.
about a man named Jed who was shooting at some.
Now that's called stalling, which isn't nothing like segue.
If you haven't heard,
About
there
what?
has been yet another settlement. This makes like the 15th or 20th in this story.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah.
For real. This
Well,
time.
this is the question I've got when we get into this story. The Superman lawsuit has been supposedly settled, and now DC. Here we go. And now DC and Warner's supposedly own the rights now to Superman, not the Siegel family.
As of October of 2013, that's when DC's / Warner Brothers holdings on Superman would have dissolved like tears in the rain, Comic Book Man. And, well, as it comes to fruition here, this past week, a judge in California has ruled that the 1992 agreement that was originally signed by the Schuster family and Warner's and DC is still binding.
Okay.
In other words, this new thing that the Schusters are trying to do is irrelevant.
Right.
It's a wash.
Right.
It's gone, which means that as of now, and of course October of 2013, DC is free to do whatever they want with Superman until the Schusters decide to appeal, which should be any day now.
Well, that's a question I had. Okay, no matter how these things have been settled, there's always been an appeal, whether it's been Warner's or whether it's been the Siegel family. And I'm just wondering now, when I hear, okay, that it's been settled and that DC has the rights back to Superman, the first thing I think of is who's going to appeal.
The judge said that Warner's now has the rights to exploit Superman any way that they feel fit.
Okay.
Within 24 hours of that ruling. Let's see how confident is Warner Brothers and DC on that ruling, Comic Book Man? Within 24 hours of that ruling coming down,
Yes.
Warner Brothers announced the Justice League of America movie will be in theaters July of 2015.
I wonder who could be in that movie.
Exactly.
I wonder which characters they'll
Exactly. I
pick.
think they were holding off making any kind of announcement on that until they had some sort of substantive idea
Yeah.
about Superman
In
and
the
their holdings on it.
prior agreement, did the Schusters get a piece?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I believe so. And
Just
it was
don't
it
like the size
was
of the
it was a
piece.
couple of million, nothing of what they probably should be getting, but that's not for me to decide. That is for the judge in California. to
I've been on record with this story from almost the very beginning with saying, and I'm going to go on record again, the Siegel family deserves as much money and as much credit for the
course.
characters as character and the Superman universe as they can possibly get, because they deserve it. They created the character, and they ought to be getting a decent chunk of change from Warner's every year. But the character is probably best off at Warner Communications,
Sure.
where the character has always been, because they're the ones that can probably exploit the character the best. The situation you have right now at DC is you've got Superman in the New 52, and I've said this before too, one of the main driving things behind the New 52 was, okay, besides sales for the comic books, was they had to do something with Superman. And so if you're going to do that in the comics, you've got to rejigger the universe, and that's what they did.
And that's what they did.
So now you have a Superman where there's no love triangle, where he has no trunks, where he has no belt, where he wears a collar, he has armor, he has instead of a costume, and all these changes were
he's a
jury
drunk.
rigged. Oh, well, no. All these changes were jury rigged because at the time that looked like what Warner's was going to be able to keep out of Superman. The original ruling was, as I remember correctly, the Siegel family had the rights to the first 5 issues of Superman.
Right.
Everything after that, Warner's held the rights to. So all the Silver Age stuff, Crypto and Streaky and the Phantom Zone and all that stuff. That's all stuff that was Silver Age stuff, which DC had the rights to, but not the Love Triangle, which was there
The
from the
Daily
beginning.
Planet,
The
Lois
Daily-
Lane.
Cape, the ass, all that.
Yeah, the costume, the way it looked, the cloth costume, you know, hence why he's in armor. And that's what all these changes have been for. And I'm hoping that if the appeal either fails or doesn't go through the way they'd like, that at some point Superman is put back in his costume and the love triangle comes back, and hell, maybe even gets his marriage back, although I doubt that.
We all know that there will be an appeal. That's
Yeah.
how the legal system works. What we can hope for is in the appellate court, when they go to appeal, that Warner's will settle with the family out of court and not drag this out any longer than it has.
And before anybody writes in some hate mail about what about the Seagulls, as I said, you know, about 2 minutes ago, yes, I want the Siegel family to get all the rights they possibly can and all the money they possibly can. But as far as owning the character goes, the worst, I always thought that the worst possible setup for Superman would be the Siegel family leaving with their version of the character and DC stuck with their version of the character. And it's like Solomon and the baby. You cut it in half, and here you get a little bit and you get a little bit, and neither one really works.
You'd have competing Supermen.
Yeah.
Here they want to sell to Vivid.
Yeah, Vivid Video.
Vivid Video.
Wants to make a Superman.
and
Super
the
Superman.
Seagulls could.
They
The
should
Seagulls
do
could
whatever
if they
they-
wanted to,
sure.
sure.
I think what this means, though, is in the comics itself, this 52 version of Superman, if this sticks, probably is going to go away within a year or so.
Yeah, it depends. What I would hope is that the Superman that some of us all know and love would be coming back. I don't have so much trouble with the current version of Superman existing. What I have trouble with is getting rid of the old one forever.
Sure. He'll come back. He'll
Yeah.
be back.
Yeah,
Well,
I could see a world where the two of them coexist.
be another universe.
Well, another universe.
Yeah.
Another universe.
So there you go. Now,
one of the things that has disappeared apparently though, from your TV screens is DC Nation.
yeah, for those of you
What's up with that?
I won't say last because who knows when you'll be watching this. But a few weeks ago, when Cartoon Network premiered their new season, and you set your DVRs for Green Lantern or for Young Justice,
Young Justice, which actually is a very good show.
it wasn't there. And in its place was that How to Train Your Dragon cartoon show or something like that. Just vanished from the face of the earth. Cartoon Network, but none of the shorts were there. The shows were gone after I think they showed the first episode of Green Lantern for the season, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. About a day later, Cartoon Network issued a press release saying, "Hey, DC Nation will be back in January," and that's all they said. They didn't say why they pulled it, what's going to happen, or anything.
So why do you think they pulled it?
Well, there's a number of reasons that have come to light since the pulling of these shows. First and foremost, Young Justice appears to be the biggest problem for Cartoon Network right
It
now.
was a good show. It was making money, wasn't it? People
You
were watching
have Static and Rocket, and I think there's a couple of other characters that come from the Milestone universe.
Right.
That muddied up the whole contract thing.
It was a rights problem?
Yeah. It's a rights problem with those characters where it had to be divvied up in another group. There was a third group involved with this. Extra royalties for these characters had to be paid.
Yeah.
And especially with them appearing in merchandise. That
Right.
was the whole merchandise. So that's a problem. Problem number two, Cartoon Network, what do? They make shows to drive sales of merchandise as yes, exactly. Exactly.
Put that back.
Problem number two for the DC block, nobody's buying this. Nobody's buying the toys. They're sitting on shelves as we speak. The ancillary tie-ins.
Well, it would help if they had a show to push it.
Well, that too, but also if the toys aren't selling, then the advertising back effect of advertising on the shows is lost, so it all
Yeah.
kind of works against it. Problem number three, production delays.
Yeah.
It turns out that the shorts, there's only a certain amount of shorts right now that they can show. And what they were doing is showing the same ones over and over again, so
Yeah.
they decided to pull the block until January, so there's a lot more product out there. Fire it back up in January, so it's all new product. We'll see what happens.
Are they not beating
there.
their Koreans hard enough?
Apparently, apparently not. The cartoon sweatshop is working at full tilt as we speak.
I don't really have any complaints about DC Nation outside of the fact that I thought an hour a day was like a little stingy. You know, I mean, considering all the backlog of stuff they have as DC related, I mean, I would think you could almost do a DC network if they
There-
wanted to, but an hour a day seemed a little bit stingy.
There's a fourth reason, but it's curiously missing from our.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I said.
Oh, wait a minute.
There's a news
This
flash.
just in.
Just in, ladies and
This
gentlemen.
just did. Yes.
Reason
yes.
number four for the DC Nation. All right. Okay.
Thank you, Jimmy Olsen.
Yes, Cartoon Network and Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers were fighting over shows that have yet to come. In particular, Beware the Batman. Cartoon Network
Okay.
got a look at the first couple of episodes of the show and said, "We don't like this so much."
Why not? wrong with
Who
it?
knows? They're not saying.
He
They're not
pulls
saying.
the head off the Joker.
And this is also a little kind of a tidbit of news. There's also another Justice League show in the pipeline.
Oh,
probably
really?
to tie in with the aforementioned movie. If you watched our last media
Right.
news, and you should be,
That's right.
another Justice League cartoon is coming.
Actually, it's the same media news.
Oh,
We're
is
still
it?
in the same
Oh, I'm
media-
sorry, I'm old comic book man.
We're still in the same media
Are we?
news.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay.
It was
In other
a
words,
story
in other
game.
words,
Prison changes a
in,
man.
in other words, speed it up is what comic book man is trying to say. So they don't like the direction that's taking either. So there's a little bad blood between. Yeah, Warner, we're stretching right now. Warner Brothers and the Cartoon Network. Thanks a lot. We're done. That's it for me.
And that's it. We're done.
Yeah,
We're
we're
done.
done. And you know he does
Thank you,
news.
Jimmy Olsen.
He does news. I do reviews. There's a website. We don't know where it's at, but somebody else does.
www.myalternatereality.com. It changes almost every day, unlike Comic Book Man and his socks.
And so that's it for media news number 181, as I recall from the top of my head.
Yes,
That is correct.
from the top of the show.
This is Comic Book Man. Coming to the store. We got a lot of stuff he does. I don't work here. We got a lot of stuff,
Man, take a
comics and
nap.
stuff. Come here. Goodbye. See ya. We're done.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.